Long days and silence. Not longer in hours. The clock still moves the same way. Morning still comes, night still falls. But time no longer passes easily. It stretches, it lingers. Mornings last longer when there is no rush. Evenings arrive without being invited. No questions, no small conversations to soften the space between meals. I wake up at 6 o'clock. I have done so for nearly 40 years. No alarm clock needed. My body remembers, even though my life no longer asks it to. I stay in bed for a moment, listening. No footsteps, no doors opening, no voice asking if I'm awake. The house is quiet, not the peaceful quiet people write about in retirement magazines, not the gentle quiet of a lazy Sunday morning. This quiet listens back. It notices when a spoon hits the counter. It answers every sound with itself. I pour coffee into the same old cup, the one I've used since my 30s. The handle is chipped. I never replaced it. Some things feel wrong to replace after they've been with you for so long. I sit at the kitchen table. 4 chairs, only one pulled out. There was a time when silence meant rest, a pause, a reward at the end of a long day. Now, silence is a reminder, soft but constant. When my wife passed away, people told me I would get used to it. They meant well. People usually do. But you don't get used to silence. You don't overcome it. You don't defeat it. You negotiate with it. You learn where it sits in the room, how large it can grow, how quickly it can fill everything. At first, I kept the television on all day, not to watch, just to hear voices, any voices, laughter from rooms that weren't mine. For a while, it helped. Then it started to feel false. Noise pretending to be company. So I turned it off. Afternoons are the hardest. Mornings still have purpose. Evenings still have structure. But afternoons are open, wide, unforgiving. I sit by the window and watch the street. Cars passing, someone walking a dog, children riding bicycles, unaware that time is something you can lose. I wonder when I started noticing the clock so often. There was a day, I don't remember which, when I realized no one would call me unless I called first. The realization didn't arrive with tears. It settled quietly, like dust. Once a week, I go to the grocery store. Not because I need much, but because the cashier asks how I'm doing. Good, I say. Doing fine. Honesty makes people uncomfortable. At night, silence changes shape. During the day, it's empty. At night, it's full. Full of unfinished conversations, full of words I thought I had more time to say. I used to think regret came from mistakes. Now I know it comes from neglect, the small pauses you skipped because you thought there would be more. One evening, I found an old box in the closet. Photographs, letters, a life that feels distant now. There's a photo of my wife in the kitchen. She's laughing. I remember her voice, but I've forgotten the sound of my own laughter. The next day, I do something different. I go to the park. I sit on a bench and let the afternoon pass. Everyone carries something invisible. Silence is not the absence of life. It's where life waits when it has nowhere else to go. I begin speaking out loud again. To no one. At first, it feels foolish. Then it becomes necessary. The first voice you lose
is your own. The days are still long. Silence still visits. But now, I let it sit beside me instead of across the room. Loneliness is not cured by noise, but by acknowledgement. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is to sit quietly and continue to exist.